never forget. Through all the pain and the sweat, that you're not done with me yet. I got to keep pressing, got to keep pressing. Oh, you know I never forget that you're not done with me yet. And all the tears that I know.
To you, family, I'm Corey.
And I'm Sean.
And we'd like to welcome you guys to Let's Grow Together. We ask that you would share this video. You guys know that we come on sometimes on Monday night and discuss marriage topics or things that have to do with marriage and relationships. And I am a firm believer that you can learn from another person's mistakes. Right. Truth be told, a lot of the things that we teach or the things that we share are because of the mistakes that we have made, and we don't want you guys to make them. So Shaquille O'Neal was on the Pivot podcast, and I believe you sent it to me. And he was talking about his ex-wife Shani and some of the mistakes that he made. And so I learned so much from what he was saying. Some of it I already knew, and we just wanted to bring it to the Let's Grow Together community and just kind of discuss it a little bit. So let me show you guys a clip of this so that you would know exactly where we're coming.
With a divorce, you controlled your life forever. You can't control that.
No, I couldn't. I was
two
bad.
people that involved in divorce, bro.
Yeah, but no, I never talked about this, and I'm glad you guys are asking because I don't mind talking about that. But I was bad. She was awesome. She really was. It was all me. I was just look. We don't need to talk about what I was doing, but I wasn't protecting her and protecting those vows. So sometimes when you live that double life, you get caught up in. So I'm not gonna say it was her. It was all me because she was. Look, she did exactly what you're supposed to do. Gave me beautiful kids, take care of the house, take care of corporate stuff. It was just all me. Sometimes when you make a lot of mistakes like that, you can't really come back from that. But as I get older and dwell on situations, I can honestly say it was all me.
Are there things from that time you would change? And do you believe if you changed them, you'd still like to be married, or you still like to be in that position where you could be with your kids and, like Channing said, could control those type of things?
The best feeling for me was coming home and hearing 5-6 different voices. Don't matter if I missed 15 free throws and we lost, they don't care about that. Dog man's home. Like we used to play something called Dog Man. As soon as I come in, I turn into a wild dog and I chase him and bite him. I just used to get him and act like I'm biting him. And
Dog man.
Yeah, and they used to love that. And look, I was just being greedy. I had the perfect situation. Wife was finer than a mug. Kept giving me babies, still finer than a mug. I had it all. Just sometimes and I don't make excuses. I know I messed up. And then, when I didn't have that, I don't like to use the D word because I don't really know what it is, but I was lost. 76,000 square foot house by yourself. Lost. No kids, go to the gym, nobody's playing in the gym, you go to their room, nobody's there. You start to feel it, but I said to myself, okay, you're not married, but you still have to protect and provide for this family. Get your ass up, man up, let's go. What you gonna do next? Because, may not be a husband, but I'm always be a father. And the father's job is to protect, provide, and love. I have two, I don't like to use the term baby mamas, I have two wonderful women that have given me beautiful, gorgeous children. I have to protect and I have to provide and I have to love for them forever. That's why I work so hard. I don't work for me, I got it all. I gotta work for them, I gotta work for my 6 babies.
Wow, that was awesome. I like to personally say that, it was a blessing to me, and I really appreciate Shaq for sharing what he was sharing and for him being so transparent. What is your thoughts on that part of the interview?
The first thing that stood out to me was, wow, I could really, really respect him taking ownership of where he erred at. Right. It was like, you have to respect a man that can admit his fault or, share where he was wrong at. Right. And so that was the biggest thing that stood out to me. It was like there was no pride in it. He was just basically saying, it was me. He just took ownership of it.
So do you think that it's important to take ownership of things you do in your relationship
Yes.
that are wrong? Because I know we all take ownership when when we feel like we've done
Right.
something right, predicted something right, So ownership is very important. Well, I'm sorry.
Well, like you said, ownership is important. I think I've heard this a lot lately. We're in a time now where nobody wants to own up to what the part that they did wrong.
True.
And I thought that was so important because the way he did it was I mean, the way that he shared the fact that he was wrong, he didn't throw any shade at her new relationship. If you go back and watch the whole interview, he also talked about the fact that she was in a new relationship and that the young man that she is now in a relationship with is an outstanding young man. And I thought that was really honorable of him. But like I said, the biggest thing was that he took ownership of the error.
Right.
That he took ownership of the fact that he made the mistake. Right.
And ownership really helps to begin the healing process.
Yeah.
Now, the person may not still be with you, but it helps you. I think it works in and out of the relationship. Mm-hmm. That if you're in a relationship where there's been a lot of toxicity and turmoil, that I think a good place to begin the healing process is with ownership.
Yeah.
Admitting to what it is that you've done, not always saying, bringing accusations against the other person, but saying, look, I want to apologize. And I think we did an episode one time on apology and the importance of apology. I think that, it begins with ownership.
Yeah.
Seeing yourself is very important in any type of relationship that you're in.
Mm-hmm. And I think also one thing that I felt, my heart kind of went out to him because I felt kind of sad for him. Because you can truly tell that he loves her,
right?
And it's like, I felt sad for him because you could tell that it's one of his biggest regrets. He mentioned that that's one of his biggest regrets, coming home to this
family.
coming home to this big empty house. You got all the money in the world, but all the rooms are empty. There's no love there. There's nobody there, and so I thought that really kind of made my heart go out to him. But at the same time, it reminded me of how important, this is kind of a segue, but how important it is that you have people around you that hold you accountable.
True.
Because all these years later, now this is the biggest regret, one of the biggest regrets of his life. Mm-hmm. But I'm not saying that he didn't have these people around him, but what I'm saying in general is that when you're out and you're making those type of mistakes, you're not looking at how this is going to affect you down the road.
Right.
So you need people around you that can hold you accountable and say, look, don't do this, don't do that. I know it seems like fun right now, but in 15 years, you're going to be in a big empty house.
Right.
By yourself, telling the world how you made a mistake by losing your wife.
But I think it speaks a lot to your character.
Yeah.
When you have people around that hold you accountable.
Yes,
that
does.
Says a lot about you, because
a
lot of times when you're in those type of groups and then you begin to say, oh, Shaq, man, hey man, that ain't your wife. So Shaq gonna start moving without you.
Yeah.
So it says a lot about the person or the individual who says, look, I want people around me to keep their eyes on me,
that's right,
to hold me accountable, to keep me in check, so that I don't lose the things that are really valuable in life.
I think, and for lack of a better word, I think it takes a very strong person to have people around them that will tell them no.
True.
And I think that I don't want to say weak, but if you only keep people around you that yes men, people that agree with you, everybody's scared of you, so everybody gonna say you're right, your own. Then I think that says something about the character of that individual as well. And so with his story, like I said, we don't know if he had those type of people around him or not.
Right.
But it reminds me about the night that we came on and talked about fighting fair, because that was one of the things that we talked about, making sure that you have people around you and around your marriage that hold you accountable. Your cut man and your corner man, they are going to be the people that pull you to the side and say, I know what's going on with you. I know why you're doing it, but let me tell you how this is going to affect your marriage later.
Right.
Let me tell you how this decision is going to have you looking later.
Right.
Let me show you what, like I said, let me show you what 15 years down the road looks like if you make this decision. And if you watch his interview, he goes on and on and on talking about how gritty he was and how he had this, he had that, but he made the decision to do different things. And this is where he ended up.
Right. And it's really sad when you're a Christian surrounded by yes men, because it may not just cost you your marriage, but it could possibly jeopardize your soul and your relationship with Christ.
Yes.
So it's very important, saved or unsaved.
That's right.
Married or unmarried, that you have people around you that hold you accountable when you're behaving or conducting yourself in a way that you shouldn't. And it really says a lot about the person. It really does. I remember, and it made me think about Jamie Foxx. And Jamie Foxx said that he bought a house and he has his friends and his family that live with him, people that's been around him for years. And they were like, man, do you feel a certain way about having to pay for all of these people? He said, no, because no matter where I go, if I have these people around me, I always feel like I'm at home, even when I'm in a new place. And he says, these people help keep me grounded and keep me in check. When you see credible people that have been in relationship with someone throughout years, and you know that these people are people of integrity, and then all of a sudden the person begins to separating themselves, or for whatever reason, or the people begin to separate from that person, you have to begin to raise an eyebrow, because these people you know that they're running with are people, or that they have a relationship with, are people of integrity. Now I don't know how his circle is now, but I learned that lesson. That was a very really nugget to me, is make sure you keep people around you that are going to keep you grounded. Wow, that's good. That's everything you got out of it?
Well, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
And I got a few things out of it, and everything that you touched on, I agree with 100%. And, like I said, learning from the mistakes of others are very important. The first thing that I learned from what Shaq was sharing is that money doesn't buy happiness. He said that he had a 76,000 square foot house. Oof. All by itself, and people thinking to themselves, that houses, that money, that cars, would solve all their problems in life, and if they had that, they would be happy. But here it is, you're talking about somebody that when it comes to finances, he's not hurting for anything. The man has millions of dollars. He has businesses. But what I learned from him is that true wealth are in relationships. Are found in relationships. So that really stood out to me. I can remember at a point in time in my life that where financially I had got to a place, it was before I was saved, and it was empty. It wasn't what I thought that it was going to be. So that was the first thing that I learned, is that money don't buy happiness, but relationships are truly found in wealth. The second thing that I learned from watching the video is God can put you together, but it's still your responsibility to make it work. And the man was trying to tell him, well, you can't control the divorce. And he said, no, I could have controlled it. I did have control over it. To me, that was him basically saying that I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So here it is now, after the fact, he realized the importance of his vows, and he also realizing that his role as a man was to protect, provide, and love. And so I realized that God can put you together, but it's still your responsibility to make it work. That's day good. To day. God don't put you together and then goes, make you do things, make you apologize in your marriage, make you be faithful to your mate. No. Faithfulness is a choice that you're going to have to get up and make every day. That's right. Talking to your mate with a level of respect and honor is something that you have to choose every day. Because I truly believe in my heart that they were meant for each other.
This is kind of off the topic of Shaq, but it's what you're talking about. I was watching Pastor R.A. Vernon and his wife, Dr. Victory Vernon, and they were talking about loyalty. And they were talking about the definition of loyalty being to show your allegiance to a person or to an organization or establishment. And he was like, well, we're going to be talking about marriage. So let's just say loyalty is showing your allegiance to the person. And she said, no, we're going to say loyalty is showing your allegiance to the person and the institutional organization. And he said, well, why? She said, because when I'm not loyal to you
or not
feeling you, I'm still loyal to the institution of marriage. And so I thought that was so powerful because we don't always get along. And we don't always have good days. And we have some days where I'm like, I hope you don't say nothing to me. You know, whatever. Sometimes. Sometimes I be like, don't say a word. But even on those days, I'm committed and I have allegiance to the institution of the marriage, the institution of the vows I took. And I thought that was so unique, tying back to what Shaq said, because he said, I did not protect her and I did not protect the vows. So on the days that he did not he wasn't feeling her.
Or having misunderstandings.
Or they may have been having a misunderstanding. He was still saying, I did not protect her and I did not protect the vows. And so I think that it was so important to share that, because there are going to be days that you don't see eye to eye. It's going to be days that you do not like your spouse. Or you don't like the way they acting, or you may have an off day and they don't like the way you acting. But you got to remember that on those days, I'm still committed to what I told God that I was going to do. I'm still committed to what I told you I was going to do. And that was to stay loyal, to show my allegiance to you, and to also show my allegiance to this institution.
But it's kind of hard to say some days you don't like your spouse.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like the way you acting, or I don't like the way you know, I'm not saying you don't like the person that they are.
That's what you said.
I always like you, baby.
That's what you said.
Let me fix it up.
Days I ain't feeling you.
On days that come on, y'all know some days you just don't get along. You know, or you may have an off day, he may have an off day.
It's life.
Yeah, but there are days that I heard somebody say, it's days I don't feel like being married. But and that was a strong way to describe it.
Yeah,
but
that
what she was but what she was saying is that on the days that I'm not feeling you, I am still loyal to this institution and this vow.
And the vow that I made.
And that was so key, because he said that. He said, I didn't protect her and I didn't protect the vow. So that's two different things. The person and the institution are married. And we owe our allegiance to both.
True. So we can't be led by our feelings and emotions.
That's
because they'll change, you know.
That's right.
Life, like, you know, and I agree with you 100%.
That's right.
That there's sometimes that people don't understand the challenge of the oneness that we're called to. You know, we're two different people. You know, we have different ideas, different perspectives. You know, you want to do things one way, I want to do things another way. But you know, the ultimate goal is to merge in that oneness. You know, and I would love to say that that we agree on everything, but we don't. I love to say that I always do everything right, but I don't. And that's kind of a reality of marriage that I don't think that we. So I was just poking fun, but I know what you're saying. You know, I ain't feeling you. I ain't liking you. I totally understand. I totally get it. And I think the challenge is not to run, not to take flight, but to be loyal to the vow. Because I think being loyal to the vow is working out the differences.
That's right.
And having patience and getting together and praying and saying, God, I'm not agreeing with the way she's seeing it, and she's not agreeing with the way I'm seeing it. Can you put us on the same accord? Is there pride in the middle of this? Is it selfishness in the middle of this? And you know, I believe that part of marriage, when you say I do, you're saying I agree to work through all of our differences.
And that's even something, this sounds kind of cliche-ish, but you have to understand that there are going to be some things that you're going to have to agree to disagree about.
Right.
And have to be okay with the fact that y'all don't agree about it.
Right.
But there's going to be some compromising, you know, that there's going to be some things that you're going to have to say, I don't see it like that.
Right.
But for the sake of us moving forward,
Right.
let's do it your way.
And then sometimes you got to bring in a rep. Sometimes you have to go and get counseling. But you know, I guess what we're trying to say is work through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is not a lifetime.
That's right.
Episode.
That's right.
You know, there is challenges.
That's right.
That come with working with another individual.
That's right.
And staying with that individual unto death do you part. There's going to be challenges.
And see, the biggest distraction is there are a lot of illusions that are put before us all day long. You know, social media, and everybody has their best foot forward. But you have to understand that nobody is posting their spats or their fights. You know, nobody's showing you when they can't stand each other. You know, so you have to know that marriage is work, and you're gonna have to put your best foot forward and stop letting the illusion that everybody is in a blissful marriage all the time.
That's true.
Let that distract you from the fact that you're gonna have to do the work.
You're gonna have to do the work. That's
work.
key. And you know, I had a good friend of mine. You know, I really consider him a brother, and he was saying, you know, I watch your Monday night. He's saying you and your wife don't always agree. And he said, it's important that the people see that, you know? And so sometimes I ask certain questions because I want to be transparent. I want to be real, that we don't agree on everything, but at the same time, we work on the things we don't agree about. And then sometimes when we come together to have a conversation about something that we don't agree on, we don't always resolve it with one meeting.
That's right.
Sometimes it's progressive. We'll talk about it today. We'll talk about it 3 days later, and you know, and we'll, you know, and sometimes it's a process to coming to that level of agreement, coming into that oneness that God desires. Because in God's eyes, we want. In God's eyes, we gonna, you know, once you say I do, in God's eyes, y'all want. Y'all better figure it out. Y'all better work it out. You know, so you know, it's important that you know that no marriage is perfect. You know, but the love doesn't change, and the vow is something that you don't run from. That you work towards. So you know, the third thing that I learned from it was don't miss true love pursuing fun and a good time. You know, in other words, immaturity. You know. Shaq was saying some things. He was saying, you know, basically, man, I was out doing my thing. You know, I wanted my cake and eat it too. And, you know, and I was just like, wow, you know, because being a man, I hang around, you know, men, and I'm in different circles. And truth be told, there's a lot of men that when they're young, you know, the main thing is having fun. And God has already blessed you with your soulmate, but you don't really get to the benefits of that relationship because you know you're immature. You know, you're immature and you're running around, and life is about fun. And
I think too, the biggest trick of the enemy, well, yeah, it is then. The biggest trick of the enemy when it comes to that is to make you believe that the person will always be there.
True.
I think that's,
and you know what? You know what's crazy that you know, people will get together and it be and this is sad. It's similar to the Shaq situation. People will get together and they're really made for each other. But because they're so immature or they're still trying to have what we call fun, they do so much damage. To each other throughout the years, you know,
and you can clearly see y'all
are meant for each other.
Y'all were created for each other.
But because there's no honor, there's no disrespect, and they're cheating on each other, and they don't understand that marriage is something you have to work on, and the foundation of marriage. They begin to cause so much damage throughout the years that the love hasn't changed. They still love each other, but there's so much damage that the relationship is beyond repair. And I've had times to where I've had to counsel people, and it's broken, and you know, and I would leave with my heart broken because I knew that these individuals were meant for each other, but
That's
there was
right.
so much damage,
Yeah.
so much cheating, so much disrespect
Mhm.
that it just came to the point that they just couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
You know, so I would tell anybody that's in a relationship and it's at its beginning stages, you know, you can, you know, Shaq said it like this: sometimes you can do certain things that you can't come back from.
Yeah.
So here it is now. She's a Shani. She's in a new relationship, and we don't know how it's going to pan out. But Shaq is realizing now that I really had something valuable, and I didn't treat it like I should. So, you know, don't let the damage of the past
or the enemy trick you.
Right. Trick you into thinking that the person is going to be
Always
there
be
forever.
there. That's right.
You know, I think R. Kelly had a song on speaking about it. When a woman's
fed
up, you know, when she fed
and
up.
vice versa.
Yeah, and you know, and that's a deception. Oh, she'll always be there.
Yeah.
She'll always be there. You know, who is she going to find that has more money than me?
That's
or
right.
this, and that? You know,
I even thought that was key because not to be so much in their business because we don't know these people personally, but I thought that was key because you are dealing with somebody that money is not an issue, you know, and so the enemy can get in there and trick you too to make you feel like because you have all this money, the person will never be able to find somebody to compete with you.
Right.
But what about when money doesn't matter to the person?
Wow.
I just want to be loved. I just want
attention.
to be, I want attention.
Respected.
I want to be respected. I want to be secure and knowing that this person is going to only be with me.
True.
Money does not matter. And so that is another trick of the enemy that will get in there. And like you said, when a woman's fed up and vice versa, make you think that because I'm this way or have certain things or whatever, you will never find anybody that can compete in that lane. But when the person's fed up, what you have or what you can offer is null and void.
Wow.
It's null and void.
That's powerful. And then, you know, the fourth thing I learned is that when God assigns someone to you, what basically means that you two were created or made for each other. Because I truly believe in that. You know, someone that truly loves you, someone that you can truly trust. Shaq said something I thought was key. Don't be greedy.
Wow.
Don't be greedy.
Wow.
One thing that gets people in trouble is options. You know, exploring their options. He said, I had everything I needed in a woman. And so when you get greedy, then one woman isn't enough. You know, one woman isn't enough. And greediness and exploring your options. And you can imagine someone that has the type of prestige, money.
She met out his checklist.
Yeah, she met his check.
That's what he let's make that clear. When he said I had everything that I needed, we know that we need God. But he was basically saying what I needed in a wife was all in this one person.
Everything. Yeah. Well, you know, truly, not even what I just, you know, I don't even want to, you know, that's the ultimate wife. Yeah. But I got out of what he was saying, what I needed in a woman.
Okay.
She possessed it all.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
What I needed in a woman, you know, because he talked about, you know, her looks.
Yeah.
He said she had babies and was still fine.
Yeah.
Now I didn't agree with the other brother saying, but
I thought that was all too.
Yeah, he said
you're supposed to be like, yes, you was.
She was fine. But now that he, you know, that he's lost it, you know, he's come to the realization that I'm possibly not getting it back. And you know, it's sad. And I believe that he realized that she was everything I needed. Yeah. She was everything I needed. And you see it so many times with celebrities. You see it with people that are not celebrities. People taking their mate for granted. Yeah. Taking their mate for granted. You know, marriage may be, some people look at it from this standpoint. You know, the person, their relationship is good, but not perfect. And I think that when you're upset because in your relationship is healthy and good, but not perfect, I think that you're being greedy. Yeah. I think that you guys should work towards the goal of having a good, healthy marriage. I believe that a perfect marriage is deception of the devil. Right. I just truly believe that it's a perfect marriage. It's no flaws, no misunderstanding. It don't work like
That's
that.
right.
It don't work like that. So my heart goes out to Shaquille O'Neal and to those that have missed the one that they feel that God has truly assigned to be the love of their life.
Yes.
So if you're with someone right now and your marriage is good but not perfect, I would pray that you would work through your differences and understand that when you say I do, that I do comes with a lot, and there will be challenges.
That's right. That's right. I think that interview, and we're talking about marriage, but I even sent that interview to my sons because the whole interview, he talked about the regrets things that he has learned through life, and the regrets that he has had for relationships, relationship with Kobe, relationship with the other one. I mean, he just talked about the way that he has dealt with certain relationships, and I just tip my hat off to the podcast, the group of men that Pivot podcast, the Shaquille O'Neal, because there were so many life lessons, even for young men. Like you said, you know, when you're young, you got money, you have options. But the problem with that is there's great responsibility that comes with options, because options will make you think that people are not important. And you find out later that certain people cannot be replaced. And so I thought that was awesome. Say that again. Certain people cannot be replaced. And you can make it look like you're that they are being replaced, but people know that certain people cannot be replaced. And I think that's what he was showing in the interview. Shawnee cannot be replaced. Kobe cannot be replaced. Penny Hardaway, he can't go back to those years where they were almost there and redo that. And so exactly. So I think that we're just dealing with the marriage part of it. But like I said, I sent that interview to my sons because I believe women too, but every young man should look at the decisions that can be made when you have options, when you have money, when you have everything right at your hand when you're young, and the repercussions that you can see that will unfold in your later years, and how important it is. Like I said, we don't know about Shaq, but how important it is to have people around you that will hold you accountable.
And the value of relationships.
That's right.
You know, and man, you were talking about a friend of mine that passed away. And I began to go through the pictures, and, you know, I had a lot of regret because I was like, man, I wish I would have called him more. I wish I would have hung out with him more. You know, he's no longer with us, and I'll never get that opportunity.
That's right.
And so we're always chasing a dollar, chasing our purpose, chasing our goals, when the true value is really found in people.
That's right.
It's really found in relationships. And then we can even go back to another show that we watch from now and then. I think is it Showtime with the Lakers?
Yeah.
Showtime.
No, Winning Time.
Winning Time. And, you know, Magic Johnson had a lot of options, but still there was only one cookie.
That's right.
You know, and he you could tell that he's struggling because he realizes that he's really supposed to be with Cookie, but he's struggling because he has so many options and so many women pulling at him. So, you know, you can't just say, well, all women are the same, all men are the same. No. You're assigned to someone and someone is assigned to you. And when you see that, you have to put on blinders and block out all the other options that you could possibly have, because that one person was created for you and you were created for that person.
And I think it makes it I can't speak for men, but it makes it so much more easier when you understand the value of that relationship.
True.
It makes it so much more easier when you understand how many people are dependent on us to make it.
Right.
You know, how many people are connected to us being together, or how many, when you start looking at it from that angle, it's easier for you to block out distractions, because you're looking at it like, I can't mess this up. There's too many people banking, not just me, you know, that I'm in love with the person, of the love of my life, but there's other people depending on this to work. And so I think that it makes it easier to block out distractions when you look at it from that angle.
True. And you can't treat everyone the same. And you know, with that Magic Johnson, with the show is Winning Time, with the show, he's trying to treat all the women in his life the same.
Yeah.
And Cookie is telling him, you know, you're not going to be able to treat me like you treat
That's
them.
right.
And a lot of times in relationship, we try to treat every person we're in relationship with the same. It doesn't work like that. When me and you got married, and I've said this on Let's Grow Together a few times, when me and you got married, the Lord had to show me you don't handle your wife like you handled your girlfriend. And I had to learn that, you know, that this relationship was different.
That's right.
And I had to change my approach. And I think that there are a lot of men right now that are mishandling their marriage because they're treating their wife like they treated their former girlfriends or their ex-wife. You know, treatment may have been good, but if it wasn't good, if it wasn't mature, if you didn't handle things right, your treatment of that person should be different.
Yeah.
So are you treating your mate, your spouse, your wife, are you treating her like you treated all the other women? Or you broad stroking them, making them all the same?
Yeah, and the mentality of a girlfriend is if she hit the door,
I'll go get
bye,
another one.
I'll get another one.
No,
but
you
your wife,
can't play with
if
like
you
that.
hit the door, I need you. If he leaves, it's curtains. You know, and so your mentality has to change. Your husband is not your boyfriend. If he decides to go, everything stops. And so we have to understand the value, like I said, back to that, the value of the relationship.
Right. And you know, I always tell people like this when we do counseling or when I talk to people about marriage, never marry somebody you can do without.
Yeah.
You know, if it's somebody that you can do without, then that ain't the one.
That's right.
It has to be somebody that you say, hey, look, I don't know if I was wrong or if you were wrong. I don't know, but I apologize. I take responsibility for my part, but I need you.
But there's a level of humility that comes with that.
Right.
Because if you hold up that pride, you're not going to be able to get to that place.
True.
You know, you're not going to be able to say, I can do without. You're not going to be able to be that, you know, you're not going to be able to let them go. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to have some kind of humility to basically say, I cannot be with anyone except for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you don't humble yourself, you may live a life full of regret because you may not get the person back in your life, that person that was created for you. So years down the line, you'll be on a podcast talking about when you were in pride and didn't humble yourself to get the one that was created for you.
That's
so I would tell anybody, don't marry a person you can do without. And does that mean if the relationship doesn't work that I could no longer go on living?
No, that's not what we're saying.
I'm not saying it to the extreme, but I'm saying if there's anyone out there that's engaged and you can be without that person, you know, that's an option you don't want to go into marriage with.
That's right.
Well, if you get them go, you can go. No, you don't want to go in with that. You want to go in with a level of humility and a level of needing one. And I need you. I need you. I'm depending on you. You're depending. And then also, I think it's very important that it be, you know, that both people feel that way. I don't think that just he could feel that way and she don't, or she can feel that way and he don't. I think it has to be equal.
Yeah.
You know, you have to, both of you have to see each other the same. And one thing that I would tell all men, that when a man loses his family, he's lost everything. I just truly believe that when a man loses his family, he's lost everything. And so, you know, that's just something that I share with men in times that we, you know, when I discuss with marriage and relationships, hey man, keep your family together. You lose your family, you lose everything. You don't want to lose your family for fun. You don't want to lose your family for greediness. You don't want to lose your family because you're treating your wife the same as you've treated every other woman in your life.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your wife or your marriage.
It's just not worth it. And vice versa.
Right.
It's just not worth it.
Right. So we pray that, you know, something was said here tonight, you know, that was a blessing to you guys. We just wanted to come on. We just wanted to share, and we'll be praying for Shaq and you know, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot from watching it. You can find the interview on the Pivot podcast. You got anything you want to share to people before we go?
No, I just, like I said before, check the whole interview out. You know, God can use anybody. I learned so much from watching that interview. Like I said, I even shared it with my sons because I believe there's some things in there that all young men can learn from.
Wow. So until the next time, my name is Corey.
I'm Sean.
And we love you
Got
guys.
to keep pressing. Got to keep pressing.
Now I done slipped and stumbled, flipped.